Welcome everybody. Today we're taking a look at another new 4K limited edition release, and this is again from StudioCanal, and it is Highlander from 1986, directed by Russell Mulcahy, who also did the really rather good Ricochet and Razorback. He also did one of the Resident Evil sequels, Resident Evil Extinction, which was decent enough, certainly one of the better sequels. And this clocks in at 116 minutes long. It's a fantasy action adventure film starring Christopher Lambert. The only other leading role film I've seen him in is Fortress, directed by Stuart Gordon. And it also stars Roxanne Hart, who was in The Verdict and Pulse, as well as Clancy Brown, who I've seen 15 films from. Notable roles in Starship Troopers, Blue Steel, and Extreme Prejudice, but also does the voice for Mr. Krabs in the SpongeBob SquarePants TV series and films. And also stars Sean Connery, who we've talked about many times before in other releases, but obviously he's been in several James Bond films. He was in The Untouchables and the best Indiana Jones film, The Last Crusade. So, this is about Connor MacLeod, who is played by Christopher Lambert, who was born in the Scottish Highlands in the 16th century. After reviving from a fatal wound and being banished from his village, MacLeod is found by swordsman Ramirez, played by Sean Connery, who explains they and others were born invincible unless they are beheaded. Immortals wage a secret war, fighting each other until the last few remaining will meet at what is called the Gathering for the Prize. In 1985, the Gathering is finally happening in New York City, and MacLeod must make sure the prize is not won by his oldest enemy, the murderous Kurgan, played by Clancy Brown. So, this is a mixed bag of genres. We've got adventure, we've got action, we've got fantasy, we've got a little bit of a love story or in there as well, with some thematic weight about who wants to live forever, in fact, or about immortality and the like. But unfortunately, it doesn't all come together to wholly work. Now, granted, I am speaking from the first time I saw this several years ago, and these are my thoughts from that time. So maybe I'll come around to it a little bit more after fully watching this 4K release. But for now, I wasn't wholly sold on the film in my first viewing. But what I did find from that time was that it was hardly boring. It's really rather engrossing. It keeps things moving, especially since it's shifting times. It's going from 16th century Scotland to other periods of time like World War II. So it is good in that regard, and it's also got confident direction. Russell Mulcahy is doing pretty good direction, like just he did in Ricochet and Razorback, which were really rather solid films. The action is really rather good. The performance from Sean Connery is great. The supporting cast is rather decent. It's got a fantastic soundtrack and score. The soundtrack being done by Queen, who did songs like Who Wants to Live Forever, which is an amazing song. And the soundtrack as a whole is amazing. The score is also pretty good. It's done by Michael Kamen, who did a whole host of action film scores in the 80s and 90s, like Die Hard, for instance. And the practical effects are convincing. It's got some solid camera work and decent pacing overall. But just a shame the script, plot, and ending weren't quite as satisfying as you would hope for something that is, such an expansive story going across many centuries. You'd expect it to be a lot more satisfying, but unfortunately, even though it keeps things moving, it does feel a little bit like it's just trying to, get to the action scene sometimes, or the more, parts of the soundtrack. But still, overall, it is a really, really good film, and this release is fantastic, as per usual from StudioCanal when it comes to their limited edition releases. So you get a nice, really solid hard box for the outside, which, as you can see, has some really rather nice artwork going for it. Upside down, what is really good is the extras that you get with this. So you get a whole bunch of extra stuff, which is all wrapped nicely in this little box here. So all the extras go in here, and then you've got your 4K, and then your Blu-ray here, and then you've got these shots from the film on the rear there. It's all nicely done. And extra wise, you get 4 pin badges, or just normal badges, I guess you could say. So quotes from the film. So you've got Who Wants to Live Forever? Again, the song by Queen. Then you've got There Can Be Only One, I'm a Man, Not a Fish, and You Have the Manners of a Goat. So, yeah, some iconic lines from the film there. And then you've got a nice booklet as well. Again, we really have good artwork on it. So this has the cast and crew listed. And then you got Who Wants to Live Forever by Chris Hewitt on how Highlander achieved immortality. Then you've got shots from the film, obviously. There's Sean Connery looking as dapper as ever. Then you've got There Can Be But One, Exploring the Wide Open Draft by Jonathan Melville. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe it's about a draft for the original film, or what would have been the original film. And then you got Russell McCarthy, Video Visionary by Mark Salisbury. Talking about the filmmaker, because Razorback was his debut film. That was only a couple of years before this, in fact. And you got original storyboards, which is always nice to see. I love seeing what production could have been like, or what was envisioned to be like. Then you've got, really rather fantastic storyboards, to be honest. Look at that one. That's cool. And then, you got costumes, original costumes, concept sketches. Again, really rather nicely done. Then you got marketing accessories and stuff. Original 1986 press book. So there's the original artwork, by the way, which I've never been a particular fan of. I definitely prefer this new stuff that they've come up with, which is always good to see. I don't think they will bother to come up with new things. And there's Freddie Mercury with Christopher Lambert. Rest in peace, Freddie Mercury. So, really, really fantastic release, to be honest, in terms of all the physical stuff. You also get a nice excerpt from a comic book. Not sure if this has had a long run or anything like that. I'm not knowledgeable on comic books. It's a pretty big blind spot in terms of, entertainment or reading or general like that. But it does look decent, and it's called Highlander Way of the Sword. So, interested to see what that's like to read. And then you get a really nice poster, again with new artwork on it, which is fantastic. It's definitely going to be one that I'm going to put up, because I have put up other StudioCanal releases up onto my walls, and that looks absolutely glorious. So always a big fan of new poster artwork when it's done right. And then you also get art cards with the actors. So there's Christopher Lambert. Here he is again. There's Sean Connery looking amazing as per usual in films. And there's the original artwork again that I wasn't a particular fan of. Quite frankly, if you took that face and put it on a porno, I wouldn't be surprised that it was actually a porno. So, he's just got that really weird expression on the go, quite frankly, which I'm not a massive fan of. So, and you also get a whole host of new extras on the disc itself. You got The Immortal Attraction of Highlander, looking back at 4 decades of Highlander magic. The rest of these are new as well. A Kind of Magic, Music of the Immortals, a featurette on the soundtrack. You got Capturing Immortality, interview with photographer David James. Then you got There Can Only Be One, Kurgan, Clancy Brown remembers Highlander. And then you've got new audio commentary with author John Melville. And then you've got what I believe is older audio commentary with Russell McCarthy and on his own. And then also audio commentary with Russell McCarthy with also William Panzer and Peter Davis. And then on the Blu-ray disc, you got an interview with Russell McCarthy, interview with Christopher Lambert, making of documentary in 4 parts, deleted scenes, audio commentary with Russell McCarthy, also on the Blu-ray disc. I imagine that's the same as that is on the 4K. So, the 4K itself looks excellent. I only watched, like I said, a portion of this because, like I said, it's been a while since I've actually watched the film, so I only wanted to watch a little bit of it before, getting this review out. But just in terms of the physical aspects, the new artwork, the presentation of all of this physical stuff and all that lot, and the fact that this box has a really rather nice shine to it. Don't know if you can see that. This looks really, really nicely done. I just think StudioCanal again have hit it out the park. They've done really rather good 4K stuff before, Basic Instinct, Don't Look Now, Total Recall. All three of those are some of my favourite films. But in terms of just the physical aspects, because this film isn't my favourite by any means, just based on my original first time viewing, just on the physical aspects, it's really rather nice. And yeah, they've really hit it out of the park with this. So yeah, here's hoping that I'll enjoy the film even more. But there are parts of it that I do love: Sean Connery, the action scenes, and in particular the soundtrack and the score. So yeah, if you've seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.